And the Browns took center stage in their preseason game against the Buffalo Bills. Shedeur Sanders got the start. He completed his first 8 passes, put the Browns' lone touchdown on the board, and what was his last opportunity to show why he should be the starter for Week 1. Then Deshaun Watson came in for the Browns' second half and completed only 5 of 12 passes for 35 yards. He threw an interception in what ended up being a 31-7 preseason loss for the Browns. The boos were loud for the majority of the time Watson was on the field, and after the game, Watson let everyone know how he felt.
I think the whole world knows it has nothing to do about the performance. It's a little bit personal than that, so I think it's a disrespectful thing. Last time I played on this field, I tore my Achilles. And that same fan base, they cheered when I got hurt. So does that have to do with, what does that have to do with anything about performance? When a person get hurt, especially for your own city, and they cheer, it's a mental battle every day. You know, I feel like I get more love on road games than I do home games. So if it is my spot and he does make me the name, maybe it's 17 away games then. I don't know.
Does any of that make you regret coming here?
No, I don't regret anything in my life.
Okay, and then the breaking news from this morning. Adam Schefter and NFL Network's Ian Rappaport reporting that Watson will be the season starter for the Cleveland Browns. He will open the season against the Jaguars on the road in Jacksonville. And so we know now that the Browns have named their starting quarterback, and it is indeed, despite what happened over the weekend, Deshaun Watson. How surprising was this move by the Browns?
The Browns have surprised me a lot for the 30 years since they've come back into the NFL. This might be the most surprising in the sense that I thought Deshaun Watson was going to win the quarterback competition for the entirety of training camp, but then you hear a press conference where he antagonizes fans. He says it's personal that they boo him. Buddy, it is not personal. It is the most performance-based booing I've ever seen because you're the avatar for the worst trading contract in football history. Do you have any regrets? Yeah, he has no regrets about getting $230 guaranteed $1 million, which keeps him on the roster, and the restructures cost him the dead money that keeps him there for the entire year. They can only send him home, which they're simply not going to do, even though they probably should. I am surprised they did not use this as an out. I am surprised that Deshaun Watson, who if he just didn't say anything, would have been named the starter. They wouldn't have booed any more than they currently do. Now he's made an enemy of anybody in Cleveland who wasn't booing him in the first place. This is a frustrated fan base that deserves to be able to boo, even in the context of the Cleveland Browns. They thought, you know that jersey, Dan Orlovsky, of all the Cleveland Browns quarterbacks, and it's got Charlie Fry and Cody Kessler and Doug Peterson's on there. Guess what? Deshaun Watson, you're just another name there. Another bad Cleveland Browns quarterback. That's all you are. You're not special other than your contract and your trade. You're Cody Kessler. You're Charlie Fry. You just make more money, and this is not personal. It's business.
It's an embarrassing decision for the organization. I stand by that. April or March of 25, the owner came out and said, we took a big swing on the quarterback. We thought we had him. We didn't. We don't. You just named him the starter. There would only have been one thing that could have made me think naming Deshaun the starter made some type of sense. Is if we go back to the press conference and those questions are asked and he sits there and says, I haven't held up my end of the bargain, both in injury and performance. And the boos aren't fun, but this is what comes with being a starting quarterback in the NFL. And I get it from a fan base. I wish I was playing more and I wish I was playing better, but I haven't. And it's not enjoyable to go through, but I'm going through it. And I haven't done enough. If he had done that, and maybe in a small moment, at least from a football perspective, endeared himself to a fan base that works, takes money from work, and goes and cheers. If he had done that, I would have said, you know what, from a football thought, at least I haven't been at practice every day. I can only see those 2 games. I would have thought it's pretty close between him and Shedeur Sanders. Sure, if you want to start the veteran, start the veteran. But once that moment happens, there's nothing more that organization could have done to disrespect its majority of its fan base than to name him the starting quarterback. There's nothing more that they could have done. To hear the response, for whatever reason, and those fans are entitled to respond however they want, to hear the response and then make that decision, you're telling the fans you don't matter. And that's a massive mistake.
I think when I look at this situation, no, I'm not surprised. I expected Deshaun to be the starter. I think, Kevin, you said if he had just kept his mouth quiet, he would have been the starter. And I think therein lies the point. Todd Monken said yesterday to local reporters that press conference was not going to factor into the decision. They were going to look at the full body of work since Todd Monken has been on the team, has been the head coach of the team. I think when you say this move shows fans that we don't care what you think, my counter to that, and I agree with you, but my counter to that is this is an organization that traded 3 first-round picks for Deshaun Watson and gave him $230 million guaranteed, knowing that all of that stuff is hanging in the balance with the legal issues and all that. They did that anyway, knowing that it would cause a rift to be in their own building and within the fan base, and yet still. As somebody who was in Cleveland when Deshaun was traded for, there were fans. A lot of the fans who were booing yesterday were cheering him when they finally got him because they thought they had a franchise guy.
Sure.
So because everybody was able to overlook all the legal issues, this is not personal, it's about football. And if Deshaun, to your question earlier, Shay, if Deshaun is able to play well, I think a lot of these fans will be fine with that because what they want to see is competent football play. Now, him playing well, how does that complicate their future going forward? Does it matter? Because they still don't, does Shedeur ever see the field? Do they keep him? Do they go after Archie Manning? All the things are still in the air, but I don't see this as a surprise. If you've been covering the Browns as long as I have, this is not surprising. And for the fans, if they're really upset about it, to your point, don't show up.
I would not go to that Week 3 game.
Like you said, don't show up. But keep in mind,
I didn't get my money.
3 of their first 5 games are on the road. The decision to move on from Deshaun is in his hands. Because even in the first 2 games, those road games, he doesn't play well. They have a home game. You're gonna look at that situation again and think, should we move on to Shedeur sooner than later?
I mean, can we all agree we're going to see Shedeur Sanders this season?
Well,
this guy has missed how many games? 49 games for the Cleveland Browns?
19 games total that he played.
Yes, but and I want to be very clear. I think the world of Todd Monken as a coach. I don't know him as a dude, but he comes across as a 10.
I know him as a dude. He's a 12. He's a 15.
Same with Andrew Berry.
Yeah.
Same with Andrew Berry.
Yes.
This wasn't a competition. I'm not dumb enough to think that this was a competition. I haven't been to every practice, but I've been paying attention to the people that are there every day, and by all accounts, it's been relatively even. There's been days where Shedeur was better, the days where Deshaun was better. So if it was relatively even, the preseason games were relatively even, one is significantly younger, and one has that press conference, the decision would have been a very clear decision to start Shedeur Sanders. This wasn't a competition.
Is it at all problematic we waited this long to name the starter? Maybe we could have avoided some of this had we done this sooner. I'm asking the crowd here.
I mean,
because
sure
all this coming on the heels of this weekend does feel a little like this.
I'm sure in hindsight they wish they had named him the starter on Thursday before he even got to the mic, right? But at the end of the day, I think this speaks to the fact that Deshaun Watson, a veteran quarterback, is even in a neck-and-neck competition with Shedeur Sanders, a 5th-round pick, who we knew would need some seasoning. He would need time to develop and get used to an NFL system. The fact that that was even neck-and-neck to me was a